Hi everyone! Today we are going to learn how to turn our quotation into an artwork. So here's an example of my quote.
So you're going to want like a scrap piece of paper. Or you can take a page on your sketchbook, and you want to try to kind of come up with a design for how you're going to lay out your lettering. So I have on this side, I sort of decided that I was going to have 5 rows. So you're going to want to think about how many rows that you want to have your words on. So I would just kind of like divide it in half and then sort of figure out how many rows you want. So maybe for this one, I will have 6 rows. I'll try doing 6 rows. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Once I figured out my layout just on a scrap of piece of paper, then I want to use my ruler to start to figure out how to measure out my letters. So my page from my sketchbook should be 12 by 8. And I have, if we remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. So I'm going to first just mark the center of my page, which is 6. And I always like to mark it in 2 places, and that way I'm certain that when I draw a line down the center, that is going to be the middle. I'm going to make this very light line so that I can erase these afterwards. So we want these to be these lines to just be like drafting lines, and for them to disappear later when we finish our picture and do our watercolors. Okay, so now what I want to do is divide my page, or find my 5 lines that go down here. So my page is 8.5, so I'm going to go 1.5 inches. So I'm dividing my page up into equal parts. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the top. Or actually, you know what? Maybe I want to make this come down lower so there's like a space between both the top and bottom. So I'm just going to put 1/2 inch at the top and then start from there. So from here, I want to do 1/2 inch, 1.5 down. I like to do it again in 2 places so that I can draw my lines evenly across. So then I'm going to do very light lines. These are just our drafting lines. So now, because I left 1/2 inch on the top and bottom, I'm going to have a little bit of space, and my lettering should fit in most of the page. So I'm going to look back at my sketch, and now I know that I want to fit these 3 words on this top line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very lightly sketch those in. This is the way I find the easiest way to do it. By just like drawing the letters very lightly so I can erase them. And believe me, I have to erase them often because sometimes what happens is you run out of space and then your letters get really small at the end. You don't want that to happen. You want them to be pretty even. Nothing can stop. So I have more right now on this side than this side. So that means that I need to move all my letters over a little bit. So I'm going to give that a little bit of an erase. So since we're painting our picture, the eraser marks will kind of bleed away once we get paint on it. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But now I just know that I want to move it over a little bit. That looks better because now each side is fairly even. So to find a font, you can go into your Google Drive and you can open up a Google Doc. And you can look at the different fonts that we have here. So we have quite a few different ones you can choose from. You can also just make something up yourself, but let's pick one that I will try to do something like. So let's say we want to do permanent marker. So I'm gonna write in my Word, I'm gonna make it a lot bigger so that I can see it when I'm doing my drawing, and then I'm going to go back to my lettering and I'm going to be looking at that text and trying to draw the shape of it. This text has a little bit of a looseness to it, so I think I can be like a little bit loose in how I draw it. So here I have one where I've outlined all the words, and this one I kind of just did like a block lettering. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually paint my picture using my watercolor set. Okay, so as you can see, I used a couple of different techniques in the piece to paint the whole background, and I painted right over the letters. So now I'm going to let this dry, and I don't want to pick it up because I don't want any of the water to like spill out anywhere. So I'm just going to leave it here, let it dry, and then I'm going to, once it's completely dry, I'm going to go in and do the letters. Now you can do the letters if you want with just pencil or like a marker or another kind of material, but I think I'm going to try to do mine both with pencil and a little bit of watercolor on the inside of them.
To finish off my picture, I'm going to add some flowers, and you can see that I'm layering the material on top of my background. So that's the nice thing about painting, is that it can be really valuable to layer paint on top of each other, and then you sort of get the colors of the bottom layer coming through, and that is like a pretty cool way to get like a rich and more dynamic painting. So give layering your picture a try. Just make sure that each layer is dry before you add another layer. Can't wait to see what you all come up with.